What's up everybody, it's Matt from Peter Glenn, and in this video we're going to talk to you about goggle to helmet fit. Let's check this out. So a big, huge question that we get every single year when people are shopping for goggles or shopping for helmets or even shopping for both is they want to know if a certain goggle will fit with a certain helmet or vice versa. You might be shopping for a goggle and say, hey, I have this helmet. Will this goggle fit with the helmet? So unfortunately, the best answer to that question is maybe. And I know that's not the answer that everybody is looking for, but honestly, it is the best answer. When the helmet companies are actually designing the helmets, they're assuming that somebody is going to be wearing goggles with the helmet, so they are designing the helmets across the top there to fit with a pair of goggles. Likewise, a lot of the goggle companies these days, they are actually making helmets as well. And even if they don't, helmets are a pretty staple piece of equipment nowadays, and they are designing those goggles to fit right underneath the helmet. So when you do look at a lot of the goggles, you can actually see that a lot of them are pretty similar across the top here. Unless they've got some really weird cuts where they're really rounded on the sides, most of them are going to fit exactly the same underneath most helmets. Likewise with the helmets, the way that they're designed across the top here, it's usually pretty flat. And unless the helmet has kind of a funky shape to it, it's really gonna fit with just about any goggle on the market. And even when you look at helmets like the Rodan that have that brim over the top too, that actually comes down on most helmets and it actually helps the goggles fit up underneath. So again, you're really gonna get a good fit from goggle to helmet with pretty much anything you buy. Now, the reason that we say maybe is that the fit of a goggle to a helmet, it's more about your face and your head than it is actually about the product. You'll notice when I grab this Anon Windham and we take the Anon M5 goggle and put it up there, it's a great fit. Also, when I grab the Anon Rodan and we put it up there too, same thing. We get a really good fit across the top. And I know everybody's saying, well, yeah, you got an Anon helmet with Anon goggles, but if I grab the Giro goggle, same thing, or even this Von Zipper. So they all pretty much fit exactly the same underneath any of these helmets. It's when you take these goggles and you actually put them on your face, it depends on how it sits on your face. Obviously, we all have different shaped heads, we all have different shaped faces, and this M5, for instance, how it fits on my face, it might sit higher on somebody else's face if they have a little bit higher bridge on their nose. Or if you have a little bit smaller nose, it actually might fit down a little bit. And that's the same for just about every single goggle on the market. Then when you look at the helmets, depending on how the helmet fits, depending on how your head is shaped, the helmet might sit a little bit higher, it might sit down a little bit lower. You really don't know exactly how that thing is gonna sit. So if we put this helmet on our head and it does sit a little bit higher and the goggle sits a little bit lower on our face to be comfortable, you're gonna have a little bit of a gap and it's not gonna fit right. On the other side, if the goggle does fit a little bit higher on your face because it sits higher on your cheekbones or higher on your nose, and or the helmet sits lower, then you might get a little bit of pressure and the helmet might actually push down on the goggles and push down on your nose. So you might not actually get the proper fit that you need. Obviously in that scenario, it's gonna fit properly right across the top of the helmet. But again, that goggle to helmet fit really depends on how everything sits on your head as opposed to exactly how it's designed. So a great way to actually demonstrate this is actually with this Anon Windham helmet. This is my favorite helmet. It fits me amazing, sits in my head exactly where I need it. And the new Anon M5 goggle, which I absolutely love. And you can see that once I have this thing on, we obviously have a very nice fit right across the top as we should, but the helmet, it's not pushing down on the goggle. It's actually sitting exactly where I need it to be on my nose, and we're not getting any gapping. So this is obviously a perfect fit. But if I actually take the M5 goggle off, I don't know why I undid the strap, and I'm gonna grab this Giro Ringo. Now, right off the bat, if we take this thing, and obviously you can see, we set it up under there, it sits nice and flush with the top of the helmet. But when I actually take this and pop it on with the helmet, and I actually have the goggles sitting exactly where it fits on my nose, you'll notice that there actually is a little bit of a gap up here. Yeah, I can push the helmet down, but now I can feel the helmet riding up in the back and it's just not comfortable. So for me, this goggle and this helmet does not fit together. But for somebody else who maybe has a little bit smaller face, a little bit shorter face where this goggle will sit up a little bit higher, it's actually gonna fit perfectly for them. So as you can see, to answer that age-old question of will this goggle fit with this helmet, The answer is maybe, and there is no better answer. Once you try the helmet and the goggles on together, that's gonna tell you whether it fits you properly. So when you are shopping for goggles and helmets, if you have a pair of goggles and you're shopping for a helmet, or if you have a helmet and you're shopping for a pair of goggles, make sure to bring whatever you have with you. If you are shopping for both, make sure to try them both on together. And if you don't have the luxury of being able to shop in the store, order what you want and then try it on. Make sure that when your helmet is on and your goggles are on, that one, there's no gapping in between the goggle and the helmet, but also make sure that the helmet is not pushing the goggles down on your face too hard where it's pushing off, cutting off your breathing and just being uncomfortable on your head. Nice thing is you can always exchange either the helmet or the goggles for something different that's gonna work properly. But if you have any questions beyond what we talked about in the video, definitely leave some comments down below. We are on there every single day trying to answer your questions. We wanna make sure we can get you into some rad gear, but most importantly, we wanna make sure that it's gonna fit you right too. Also make sure to like, subscribe, and definitely get that notification bell on too so you can find out when all the new videos drop. And head on over to peterglenn.com or even into one of our stores. Grab yourself a helmet and a new set of goggles and get out and ride. Because any day of riding is a good day of riding.